Hello, hello. Welcome to our next podcast. If you haven't seen them before, you can see them on YouTube. This one, we're going to try and make it a new monthly series hosted by me and Adam, or hopefully most months anyway. We're getting special guests, so if there's anyone you want to get on the show, just let us know. They're contracted to us, so they've got to oblige. But yeah, so if today we're going to have special guests. We're going to do a little section with me and Adam just to discuss what's gone on with Endpoint this last month and a bit more. And then we're going to get some of the Counter-Strike guys coming on. We've got Crucial and we've got Ross. And then for Rocket League, we've got Eclipse and we've got Metsanauris as well. So it should be a great, good little podcast. If you do have any questions in chat, please just feel free to post about them. I'll try and see them. We'll get some answers for you. It's going to be very open. Unless we're like under NDA or something, we won't tell you. Or if it's something that's coming up we want to announce soon, probably won't tell you. But it'll be quite nice and open. Yeah. If you don't know myself and Adam, we're the owners of Endpoint. But yeah, I mean, the first thing to discuss, I'll put into Twitch chat. Quite a cool little announcement, isn't it, Adam?
Yeah, it is, and I guess it kind of shows just how well the guys have been doing lately in the Counter-Strike team. Being associated with the Blast Premier is huge for us. We obviously did Blast Rising earlier in the year and did really well. And I think this is the kind of like the next step up for us. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they do. I mean, the level of competition there is absolutely ridiculous, really.
Yeah, so it's going to be like a single elimination competition. So they're going to do it done seeding wise, and we're likely to get a top seed, aren't we? Like one of the top seeds. So it's going to be a tough one.
I can see it's being put against Liquid, Vitality, someone around there. Like you say, it's a single limb, so let's hope we make it deep. But it's great experience for the guys at the very least. And this is the kind of level that we want to be operating at. So
yeah, no, it's
great.
I personally want to take on an American side, see how we get on. But
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it'd be nice to play an NA side.
Yeah. So anyway, after that, we can discuss that with some of the Counter-Strike guys later. Anyway, one thing we wanted to be quite open about is we haven't really discussed it in public at all about what happened with the signing of flameZ, the selling of Thomas. I know it's a question that a lot of people, why did Thomas leave, kind of things. Yeah, I mean, let's discuss it. We're not going to tell you how much he's gone for, but we can discuss the reasons behind it and the problems that we had with it. Adam, feel free to start, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we did one of these, and like you said, it's one of those things that keeps coming up and people mention it. And obviously at the time it was a little bit awkward because Thomas effectively went inactive from the team for a period of time whilst that was ongoing in the background, whilst he was speaking to Envy. I guess the reasons that Thomas kind of went to Envy was just because it was kind of a sign of how well the team were doing. We were turning a lot of heads. A couple of teams were looking for players, and actually, we had an issue before Thomas where a huge organization came in for one of our players, and it was looking like we were potentially going to lose one of the other players. And I think that's what made Thomas got a bit spooked at that point, I think, and he realized that actually I need to start maybe looking after myself a bit more. He signed with Prodigy Agency, which Jerome heads up. And it wasn't long after he signed with them that the interest from Envy came. And whilst initially it moved quite quickly, obviously then the whole negotiations dragged on, and it meant that he was inactive from the team. Thankfully it was only Thomas, because like I said, we were at risk of losing one of the other guys. It looked like a deal was going to happen there, but once that fell through, at that point Thomas was already talking to Envy and decided to go with Envy for obvious reasons. They're a huge organization. They have a lot of money and opportunity behind them. They're in Flashpoint, and so I think he saw it as the next step for him.
Yeah, I think this is the problem with the tier 2, 3 scene, is that it's a good problem to have for, especially for the players really, but actually it's kind of bad for the players as well at the same time, because the one of the things that was in Thomas's head niggling away was that you know, at any point we're working so hard as a core five. We have done for 8-9 months, and you know, at any moment a big organization can just come in, take a player, and that's all your hard work gone. And I can understand that problem. Luckily, like since Thomas' sale, we've signed much longer contracts. You know, the buyouts are bigger. You know, so if someone really does come in for it, we really would have the funds to replace it properly. You know, or we can look at a higher level, you know, tier 1 level to replace it with, or whatever. But it's still an issue, and that is the problem with an organisation our size, and that's just a standard problem. I mean, Copenhagen Flames have sold like 10 players this season. How can you get a solid lineup going if you keep selling your players? And it's not something we want to do, but we will never get in the way of our players if it's something they want to do. So it's a tricky one. Yeah.
That's the thing. There's no shame in being, some people call it a feeder team, where a lot of bigger teams kind of come in. I think if anything, it shows that we're doing the job right. It shows that we're identifying the talent and we're working with them, and they're being noticed by the bigger boys, so to speak. Certainly, we have aspirations bigger than that, and we want to be one of the bigger boys. But for the time being, there's no shame in kind of identifying that there are going to be bigger and better opportunities for these guys, and so that is a risk, like you said, of being a tier 2, tier 3 CS:GO team. But as you touched on, thankfully, from selling Thomas, we were able to get the guys on longer contracts and pick up flameZ, who has turned out to be a prodigy in himself. He's fitted into the team really well. I don't know if you want to touch on that now.
Yeah, we can discuss flameZ later with the CS guys, how he's fitting into the team. Yeah, I mean, for people's openness, other players that we looked at, we obviously weren't just looking at flameZ when we signed him. We looked at mezZ, obviously, and Spinks as well. It was those three, really, that were the only three players that we looked at. There isn't really much options out there right now. That's the other issue, is that there's not... I think that was another part of Thomas's worry, is that there's not really... If someone goes, someone gets sold, then there's no one to pick up, because there's not really many free agents out there.
Obviously, from our point of view, being a UK organisation and kind of focusing around UK teams, it was a big decision to step away from that. But the timing of Thomas's sale was a little bit awkward, because I guess a lot of the top level UK talent had moved the switch over to Valorant just beforehand, and actually were doing really well in Valorant. As you can see by the fact that quite a few of them are signed to large organisations. But and so it was difficult having a look at the pool of players that were available, certainly within the UK, and really the only person that we kind of focused on from the UK was mezZ.
We being completely open, we tried to get him.
Yeah,
we offered a lot of money for him. That was just straight up, simple. We don't mind saying, but it just didn't work out. I don't want to go into that too much more, but it didn't work out. And yeah, but we're very happy with flameZ. There's obviously no. I think he could potentially be the best of the three, so there's no issues there. But we'll just see. He's obviously a young talent. See how he gets on. But
yeah, and just to touch on a question in chat there, has any larger org shown an interest in flameZ at the moment? No. I mean, yes and no. We know that there's interest there. We know that he's turning heads, and the fact that in the numbers that he's putting up, and there has been the odd kind of tentative inquiry, but nothing to the level of where we are allowing them to talk to flameZ. It's not got to a point where they've kind of come in with an offer that's met what his buyout is, and to the point where they're talking to him or anything like that. So
yeah,
no, not
anyway, let's move on a little bit. So one of the big things for Endpoint, obviously, if we're talking about business side of things, sponsorship deals. This month, if you've been following our socials, we've done pretty well, I think. We've managed to renew our contracts with Overclockers and noblechairs, which have been a really long partner for us. They've been with us for over 3 years now. Obviously, from a business side of things, if we want to be able to offer these salaries to our players, keep them under the brand, keep them being able to practice full time, and really pushing professionalism in the UK, we need these brands behind us to be able to pay for that. We haven't got a big cash cow behind us. We haven't got a huge investor. We haven't got all these things. So that's great. We also managed to sign a new sponsor in Thrusmaster. That's with our Rocket League guys. So it's a Rocket League only sponsorship to promote the eSwap controllers, which are kind of cool. They're a mix of PlayStation and Xbox. You can have either controller. That's really cool. And other activations we've done this month have been we did the Red Bull flick. If anyone saw that, is it was actually quite a hard thing to organise. I had to get we got all our pros playing it and Ross as well as coach. So that's 6, and then we had to get 12 streamers on board as well. 16 team bracket, good fun to do. A lot of work. But again, kind of cool to do an activation with Red Bull, which is our second one we've done. We did the workshop as well that I think a few people in the chat were on, which is cool. So work more with companies like Red Bull is a really good thing for us to do. You never know what happens in the future. You got to put yourself out there. They were happy with how we've done. So yeah.
Yeah, I think, it's a testament to Overclockers and noblechairs. They've been with us for so long now, since 2017. It's great to renew the partnership with them, and thanks to them for recognizing our growth and realizing that, we have progressed a lot in the last year or so. And so getting that deal over the line was important to us, because whilst, a lot of people can look at the big flashy sponsorships, your kind of household names that are non-endemic. At the same time, it's the endemic sponsors that help you get the numbers over the line at the end of the month, that help you make sure that you are sustainable. And so, yeah, we're really grateful for that. And in terms of Thrusmaster, I think it's going to be an interesting partnership. We have a lot planned with them. And I like the fact that it's a partnership specifically around Rocket League and a specific product that they want to promote. From a business point of view, from our side, that's good for us because it doesn't really lock much out in terms of exclusivity. But at the same time, it means that we can really focus on marketing that product, and we can really focus on doing content for them around it. And so, yeah, it's been good in that sense to renew those deals.
Yeah, and we got some pretty cool things happening with Overclockers and noblechairs deal as well. You'll probably see that before Christmas, I guess, which is kind of neat. Yeah, so I think that what is it? Yeah, okay. What I will like to say, I'll just get the Counter-Strike guys on, but what I will say is CX, like or Sex as they pronounce it. This whole year would not have been possible without them. The guys behind the company are brilliant. We have meetings with them every week. Me and Adam are actually learning a ton from them business wise. They've grown a company which is turning over crazy amounts of numbers. Hundreds and hundreds of millions a year now, and we're learning from them, which is from a business perspective on our side of things is brilliant. Yeah, we're gonna get Ross and Crucial in now. Ross has just joined.
Hey, Ross.
How you doing, guys? Can you hear me all right, yeah?
Yeah, we got
voice.
you.
There you go. Hopefully, Joe will be joining us in a sec as well.
Those sultry Irish tones there from us.
The voice is hoarse from shouting all day.
It is quite hoarse. Are you feeling all right?
No, I'm all right.
Jeez.
That's good.
Jesus.
Hey, Joey.
Hey, Joey.
It's so loud. Okay, wait. I turned you guys down. Yo, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Just finished practice.
Great. How'd it go today?
Well, decent. I'd say not good, not bad.
Who are you playing today?
Who did we play? Ross?
We played Envy. It was heroic the first crack.
Oh, yeah.
And then we played 2 other kind of lesser tier.
Everyone's obviously wants to know, did you beat Thomas and Brack? Is there?
We didn't.
We didn't.
Actually.
Oof.
No. Thomas was on it.
Okay. We just touched on the whole Thomas situation and what happened there, and the fact that we potentially lost another player beforehand and everything. But I guess we'll start there in terms of flameZ and how he's kind of come into the team. A lot of people may be aware of him, but he certainly flew under the radar of a lot of people when we were talking about who we were potentially picking up. And although we had a rocky start to MDL and we turned that around, which we'll touch on later, but generally speaking, how do you feel that flameZ has fitted into the team?
Yeah, I can't praise the kid enough. He's an absolute magnificent talent. We couldn't have been more fortunate the way things worked out. Obviously, we wanted Mezzy. We looked at getting Spinks, and he ended up going to Contact, and we were literally fell into the laps of the gods with flameZ. We're so fortunate with him. He's absolutely brilliant, and I think it's evident. Everyone can see how good he is. It's terrifying at times. So we're just pleased to have him. I guess he fits like he's mature beyond his years as well. I think just kids nowadays are just more mature than when I was a kid anyway. And he's great to work with. A pleasure.
And are you feeling comfortable playing around him, Joey? And
oh yeah, definitely. Like he is so good. Like his aim is insane. Like I've never seen someone aim like this before. Like the guy's talent.
I remember we were talking about, like, discussing on TeamSpeak about who to get, weren't we? And flameZ was happening to play a HLTV game at the time. I think was he playing for Singularity or was it somebody else? And we were just watching him.
Yeah, it was.
And he
was trying out.
He just dropped like 30 odd on Overpass as we were like watching to see if he's any good. Like...
Yeah, I remember the round so well. I mean, Max, we were watching. He's just he regressed on A through toilets and killed everyone, and we were just like, this kid, he could be good. But then the first day we practiced with him, I think we played Navi or something on Dust 2, and he just had this unbelievable 4K on A, and we were just like, this guy is unbelievable. It's just his movement and mechanics. You can see straight away how good someone is, and we were just as soon as we could sign him. That was the kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if we talk a bit about MDL, I mean, Joey, it'd be good to get your views on this, obviously, as well. Like, we started 0-6. I mean, most people who go into a new team, you have that honeymoon period. We clearly didn't have the honeymoon period, and you know, we did awful at the start, and we've obviously turned it around, made playoffs. What was the mood like in camp? You know, how hard was the start, and you managed to get over it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, we came back from a holiday, like we had like a 2-week off break. So we didn't play CS at all. And then Thomas thing happened, which took like another 2 weeks. So we basically didn't play for like a month, like really competitively or a lot. So like we were all kind of rusty. And then we had to add a new player on top of that. It was just not great. Then we just went 0-6. But then we started practicing more, getting more in like in the game rhythm. And it just went up from there, basically. But like we always believed in the team, like it was never like in doubt.
I don't know if I would agree. I think there was a lot of. It felt like there was a lot of ring. It was like we all hoped that it was just ring rust. It was a kind of a case that we would just.
We were all whiffing, like
get through it, but it wasn't a case that we were just like strategically doing anything that poor and to keep kind of reassuring the guys that's not the issue. It was really just that we were playing terribly individually, and it was just once we got over that hump, and it kind of just snowballed from there. Because it was like what was the great reassurance about it was that we weren't like when you lose someone as good as Thomas, you're very concerned about how you're going to replace them, and then you look to the person that came in. And it's like, well, we were winning these games before when we had Thomas, and we were looking. You know, normally everyone would point fingers at the fifth, but our fifth was so good, and playing so well that it was like, well, that's not the problem. So it was just a case of just playing more and more and getting back into the rhythm of things, I think, for the guys, and then we just started winning again.
Yeah. How is it for you as a coach during that period? Like, are you constantly looking for answers? You know, are you trying to figure out what is it? Is it just rust, or is it, you know, is there something deeper? As Thomas left a bigger hole than we expected.
Terrifying, because you know when you get to a stage like now you have like this kind of small little diamond, and it's like this is a successful project, and now we're getting results, and you can see progress, and then you lose someone that was so pivotal to it, regardless of what anyone says. Thomas was so key to the team. And losing him, you never know what's going to happen. Like we could have gotten in someone that was even a few percentile points less than in Thomas in terms of skill, and that would have such a detrimental effect over a long season. But we were fortunate enough to get flameZ, who was maybe even arguably better than Thomas, and that was the reassurance. It was like we've gotten someone who's super gifted, so it's just a case of when everyone else kicks into gear that it's going to be fine. And thankfully it did, because if it dragged on for much longer, like 0-6, I don't know if anyone's ever gotten back to playoffs after starting the season 0-6, but there was real fears of being in a relegation battle. And then kind of the whole thing happened with Skade, and we went from being 0-6 to 6-5 or something like that. It was all gravy after that, I suppose.
I remember having a conversation with you around the time, and we were saying, well, we absolutely need to try and stay in MDL. We want to avoid getting relegated from MDL, and I don't think we were really expecting quite the turnaround. To go from that and then making playoffs, I think has been a fantastic journey, and it's all credit to you guys for turning it around in that time frame for sure.
I mean, also
obviously
MDL playoffs, the winner gets Pro League, don't they? Now there's no So it used to be that the top 3 get into the Contenders League or something, or the challenge, whatever it was.
Global Challenge.
That's
ESL
what, yeah,
Global
yeah.
Challenge.
And now the winner of Pro League gets MDL, gets Pro League. How confident are we?
After the season we've had, we're kind of pleased to be even involved. I think we finished 5th in the end, so I think we're potentially playing secret. So
Yeah, we are.
Double in there as well. So
yeah, double limb. So it'll be a long slog, and it'll be difficult. Like
Yeah.
it's weirdly, Hellraisers have been unbelievable in MDL this season. I think they've dropped one map, but I haven't really seen much of them elsewhere. So you know,
if you look at the results
fingers
from
crossed they're a
Hellraisers,
best of one team.
if you look at Hellraiser's results, there's probably about 6 or 7 there that are 16-14 or overtime. So it's kind of obviously that shows good mental resistance, but like, yeah, I mean it's
But they came completely out of left field as well. Like they had a whole new roster, and it's, you know, they have 2 players there, and I don't know how do you pronounce his name. It's like JLM or something, and then Problem, and they've been phenomenal. So it's been a weird season of MDL for sure. There was some teams who like stormed out of the blocks, and now they're, you know, down relegation, and yeah, and vice versa for ourselves. So look, it's kind of like I don't know. It's great, you know, chance to get into Pro League, but we just play so much CS now. It kind of blurs into one of it. You know, it's like event after event after event after event. And it's like, you know, if you win any of them, it would be phenomenal. So we'll take any wins.
I mean, on that subject, so like obviously we went through a period of the team where you guys were the most active team, like over the period of 6 months, I think, or something like that. And then we had the break, and we've come back and dealt with the whole Thomas and Flame situation. And now it seems like our event schedule is packing up again. We played another DreamHack Open recently, you know, and I'm sure that didn't go the way that you really wanted it to go, but you know, it's just being there, right? Like it's qualifying for those events and being there. How did you find the DreamHack Open this time around? Obviously, it's the 3rd one of the year, which is a huge achievement in itself. But did it feel any different because it was more stacked, right?
Yeah,
like
this one is way different because it was an RMR event. Like this was all the best teams in the world were there basically.
The DreamHack events have got harder and harder, haven't they? Each 3 of them, they've gone like the first one. I remember the year everyone was saying it's the most stacked DreamHack ever, and the second one was it's the most stacked DreamHack ever. And
yeah, but this one was just stacked because it was an RMR event.
Yeah.
So like that's why all the best teams played there.
The summer one was stacked as well, though. I think the issue is that it's because of COVID. All the teams are coming from EU, and EU is unbelievably stacked.
Yeah.
So even in the tier 2 of EU, it's terrifying. So yeah, and any EU event now is just a nightmare.
We're discussing that now. Is obviously we've just been announced that we're in Blast Premier, the Showdown, which is fucking great for us. But that's not just EU teams. So even though it's got all the best teams in the world in it, do we feel we got more of a chance if we maybe get an American team first, or we get, you know, I don't know. Because we won the lower seeds, weren't we? So we're likely to hopefully get one of the American teams instead of one of the top EU teams. But
yeah, I don't know. I think you go on, Joy, far away.
I mean, I think EG and Liquid are just as bad, just as good as the top teams as EU. So there's no difference really, I think. But like normally in the DreamHack events, you would have like some lesser NA teams playing that, so then you would like have more chance of doing good.
Who do you want to face? Who do you think you can beat? To get first round.
I don't know, to be honest.
I don't know. I'd like to
maybe
just play one of the
like,
NA teams for the fun of it. Kind of change
you don't really play them that much.
Just play someone we haven't played before, because we keep. I kid you not. It feels like it's just this constant circle of playing heroic all the time.
Just heroic, yeah.
So if we can play someone new, it'd be fun.
We've got a map off for it before. You know, I know where it gets them. But yeah, agree. That's cool. I mean, like the biggest subject for this last month for us was, you know, first time ever for Endpoint we made top 30 in the world. It's been me and Adam's goal from the very start to get a team to the top 30. Joey, you've done it before though, haven't you? So I mean, like, how does this change? I mean, that was actually one of the main, you know, factors behind us wanting to get this team, is that, you know, you, Robin, Kaya, and Thomas. Did he get top 30 as well? I think he did. Had all got top 30 before. So, you know, the skill in the team and the experience in the team was there to make it again to top 30. How does this feel like this time around?
Yeah, it feels great. Because it took a while. Like we were so close for so long, but like now it's just staying there. Like we're top 30, but like we're not stable. And my goal has always be a stable top 30 team. And we got there, but now we need to make sure that we stay there basically.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's one of those things that you hope is going to be a catalyst to being able to stay there, right? You know, once
Yeah.
you make top 30, you get invited to more and more events.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like the last premiere that was the and you're hoping that that will keep the ball rolling and so that you can constantly compete at a higher level. I mean, for a long period of time, it kind of felt like we were being trolled by HLTV, right? Like, yeah, like 31st all the time, and like
Yeah.
the 1 week where you think you're going to do it, some random team comes out of nowhere and gets plus 24 points or something for winning some random national championship or something. But yeah, I mean, it's great that we've managed to break it, and like you said, I'm looking forward to focusing on solidifying that now and having you guys compete in the bigger and better events. I guess on the flip side of that, and I mentioned national championships there, is like we're still competing in ESL Prem, you know, and for us as an organization, we've kind of always said that we want to stay relevant to the UK. I mean, yes, obviously with the trade of Thomas and bringing in Flames, we no longer have a British core, but at the same time, we are a UK organization and we still have UK players, and so we still want to kind of make sure that we're competing within the UK. And obviously ESL, then domestic championship has been important for that factor. But I mean, I think it's fair to say that this season it's been a bit of light relief for you guys. Like, I don't know, it just feels like, you know, the competition isn't there as it has been in the past, probably because a lot of the players have gone to Valorant and there are no other UK teams kind of punching around our level, certainly not when you look at the rankings. And so how are you finding competing in ESL Prem this time?
Well, it's just a free win, to be honest. Like, I'm not gonna lie about it. It's just, yeah.
Connor's been great, though, hasn't he? Connor's doing well as well.
Yeah. Like, no offense to Connor, but with Connor, we just win that easily.
Yeah.
Like, there's no.
If you think if we had Flames, what it would be like?
Like, if we had Flames even instead of Connor, like, there would be no chance. Like.
Yeah. But it's I think it's good in some ways. Like, we were talking about this before. I think it's good to have a top-heavy scene in a country that's struggling, because then the players that are the best players will filter to the top team. In the same way, like in La Liga in Spain, the best players filter up to Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich in Germany. Like, if you don't have that, then everyone is siloed, and the best players are siloed off in lesser teams, because everyone's paying kind of a similar-ish salary or whatever it was, and it's hard to get people away. There's not actually a big enough draw for them. So now I think it's a case of, if anyone did come to the front of the UK scene and did show that they're like a phenomenal talent, then they would just come up to us.
I mean, it started with the same with Danish team, doesn't it? Because was it TSM at the time were doing really well, but there weren't many other Danish teams at all, and then they kind of brought everyone up with them, didn't they? Because there's now loads, obviously, but there's now probably 10 Danish teams that are in the top 100 or whatever. So I think it's got to start with one team and then everyone realizes they can do it as well, or they see the effort they're putting in, or they or whatever.
I think that's it as well. I think it gives the other teams the opportunity to play a team at that level as well, because it's the fact that would we not be in the ESL Prem, perhaps they wouldn't have the opportunity to play a team that's around the top 30. And because I mean, let's face it, we're kind of everyone's cup final at the moment, right? Everyone's kind of, oh, can we beat Endpoint and everything? And I think that side of it is good. I mean, I don't mind saying, from our point of view, we've been considering, what do we do about ESL Prem? Do we look at maybe having an academy team, that it be a UK academy team, and one of the competitions they were competing, because obviously we've got to be careful with conflict of interest, is ESL Prem, and so that the main team would focus on European competition, and the academy team would focus on domestic competition. It's one of the things that we are considering, but
Definitely
I guess the
future, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess the counter to that is the fact that ESL, one thing they do well with the national championships is the fact that it does act as a stepping stone to other things. And so whilst ever there's that opportunity to take the national championships and move into the other competitions, like I think this one goes into the EPEC or whatever it is, and then you can potentially get an IEM spot, right? Like at the end of that journey, because of this new path to pro or whatever it is that they're doing. And so it is a difficult consideration, and I think it's worth us competing in ESL Prem for that reason.
It's good for our brand as well, as a separate point, just to be top of the UK scene still. And hopefully if we win 6, we're most decorated ever as Endpoint to win 6 of them.
Yeah, but it also gives other UK teams motivation to play us and like try to beat us, basically.
True. I mean, on that, I mean, someone's asking chat about what's your opinion on the UMX guys. Obviously, done pretty well this year.
I think 2 of them are Irish.
Are they?
From what I've seen, yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, they play like they I don't know, they like role play Furia, and they're like a budget version of Saw, the Portuguese team when we played them. They just give it nonstop, which is nice to see. Like it's a genuine different play style and it works for teams, so it's nice, and it can catch people off guard. So yeah, they seem fairly talented. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it is a good platform at the end of the day for players to show off and to be noticed. Like I remember that's where I saw flameZ for the first time, I think, in ESL Prem. So it's like, who's going to be the next flameZ or next Thomas or next Kaya, or next Max.
We got an important question in chat for Joey. What's under your blanket from the Spiffing Brit?
This stuff, the stuff from my brother. Like stuff from my brother.
Stuff for your brother. Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, how also is like? I mean, we got a sub in the chat from our mental coach. How's FatBobMarley doing for you guys?
Man's an absolute hero.
Oh, FatBobMarley.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, he's a legend. He's a great streamer.
Next big streamer. Man.
Next big streamer. He's some upcoming streamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, check him out, guys, for sure. There you go. He's in chat, so give him a little follow. Nice guy.
Oh, is he in chat?
Yeah, he's in chat. Yeah.
Oh,
He just up to us. Yeah.
You watch all the games now, man. He's absolute legend.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Fat Bob.
He is a legend.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, so what have you guys been working on this month? What's the main thing? What's the main thing in your game that you feel you need to work on? If you don't mind saying, you obviously don't have to give too much depth, but is there certain things you're working on right now? Yeah,
we're trying to expand our map pool.
Yeah,
it's kind of, we've had some multiple perma bans for a long time. We're trying to get out of our system, especially because the more we play. It was really okay to do it when we were playing like the 9-to-5s and Malta vibes, because regularly we would find ourselves able to push people into a corner with vetoes. But now when we play heroic or any of the better teams like North, every time we play them they absolutely veto fuck us, because we historically don't really play Overpass or North Nuke, so we have to figure out a way to get around that. And we played Nuke against them. It was difficult to say the least, but we're just working on deepening the map pool. But it's like everything else then is just kind of incremental improvement over time. More and more we play, kind of and finding the best roles for flames in every scenario we can.
Yeah, it seems to be that we come up against North quite regularly at those later stages of qualifiers or playoffs or whatever it may be. We seem to come up against North, and I agree. Their veto is very different to ours, and it shows sometimes. But we'll get there. It's part of the project, right? You have to do it.
Yeah, they don't really get direct invites to like big tournaments, so they mostly normally have to play close qualifiers as well. So that's why I probably face them in the end.
Yeah. Is there anything you're working on yourself, Joe, at the moment? Is there like a certain part of your game you want to improve?
Yeah, not whiffing.
So how do you go about not whiffing? What's the strategy?
Honestly, I've just listened to Ross. He's my master.
Yeah, it's just Joey goes through like little bouts of whiffing. It's just form. And he goes through bouts of hitting absolutely everything and hitting the hardest shots imaginable. So it's like that's all it is. And so it's important for the guys to to reiterate to the guys all the time the difference between like form and and it's not that we're shit as a team or individually. It's just that we're in a bad bout of form at times. Like there are going to be games where we lose to teams we shouldn't. This is why we always have these kind of discussions about what is consistency in CS. It's very hard to know. It's like we talk about teams that we should beat, but it's like how often should we be beating them? Like we're never going to be beating them 100% of the time. But what's an acceptable percentage of the time to be beating these teams? So it's hard because it's like sometimes some games carry more weight than others, and it's the CS is just full of upsets, and especially in EU. So even advanced, there's a lot of teams that are on salary now. I was looking at, I would hate to be in that relegation playoff or the promotion playoffs for MDL. It's so stacked. So that's just the way it's going, I guess.
Yeah. Got a few more questions in chat stuff. So I mean, one of them is about are we attending any UK events like iSeries and stuff? I mean, for us, you know, that's another point of in the future where we look to go for potential academy roster. Should be going to events like iSeries and Epic LAN. Joey, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you want to go to an iSeries? Like,
I mean, when is ICS? Like with Corona and all,
Well,
then it
yeah,
could be
but-
like could be ages, but nah, not really, to be honest.
think
I
it's
mean,
weird to-
I
it's
don't
weird
think
to think
anyone.
about, right?
I don't think everyone wants to go. Well, if everyone wants to go,
I mean, we don't really want to send you
Yeah.
either because it's fucking expensive and it's like
Yeah.
pointless.
No,
but-
we're not going.
like, what's the point? Like, you don't really get anything from winning. Like
Yeah.
if we go, they all expect us to win.
The prize
And
money
if
is
you
the,
don't
the
go,
prize
like,
money's
and you don't really get anything from
the prize
it,
money is the
it's
same as
just-
when I was playing in I-30 for CSS. Like,
No,
which
it's
is
not.
nuts.
Doesn't make sense.
like this, yeah. You
And it's
don't
just
get
another
anything
it's
from
just
it.
another week of where we would be traveling, and it would just,
Yeah.
you know, it's just a week that's lost of practice or whatever. Or, you know, at this, if you think about it this way, the way things are now, that, you know, we would have been traveling a large chunk of this year if we were in
Yeah.
normal times.
Yeah.
So like time at home would be of a premium, so we wouldn't be wanting to be spending it at a
Yeah, I mean,
UK.
Chances are, with how our schedule is looking at the moment, it would probably be packed and it'd overlap with something else. I mean, obviously the Easter one normally overlaps with Copenhagen Games, which, again, who knows what the hell's going to happen there? Probably won't be on, you know, at the moment. And it feels so weird when you think about LAN events right now, because everyone wants them to come back, but I think we've been in this situation for so long now that it almost feels alien to go to an event and compete. Is it something that you are looking forward to, or like and that you're missing, or is it are you kind of now in the stage of, do you know what, I'd rather just keep playing online and until things are sorted?
No, definitely not. I want to play at LAN. I live for that shit. Like that's
Yeah.
why I play the game, to play at LAN and to play like for people to watch, and like I love that. That's why you play the game, basically. I mean, for me.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And yeah, I really miss it, and I still want to go to WSG because we qualified for it, but I don't think it's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Oh yeah,
Like,
forgot about that one.
yeah, we qualified for a big tournament, $1 million tournament. Okay,
Cancelled soon.
Corona comes. Unlucky.
Yeah, and it's weird to think, you know, how different this year could have been for us. You know, like we said earlier, we made our third DreamHack Open of the year. We've been invited to this last Premier thing and like WESG and everything like that. And you know, like you said, we could have been traveling everywhere and playing mostly on LAN. But
Yeah.
as it is, we've just been, you know, plowing through online cups and you know,
Some home sweet homes.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
7 of those.
yeah.
I think that's about. It's been like a bit of a double-edged. It's like it's benefited us as much as it's kind of hindered us. The online.
Yeah.
It's not that we're not by any stretch of the imagination suggesting that we're a bad LAN team, but as in playing that many officials over that, you know, sustained period has been beneficial. Whereas in it's like weathered the guys in a sense that nobody. It's not that nobody cares about officials anymore, but we've just played so many of them. The importance of them has waned so much now. It's just like, you know, there's nobody cares about the importance of your HL. Like obviously we care about winning, and then becomes that your ratings improve as a team and individually. But it's not like, you know, when you initially break onto HLTV, you're under such pressure to perform immediately to retain your position. Whereas in now, like we were talked about there, how our schedule has reduced. But the reason our schedule has reduced is because we've chosen to do that. We've actually actively made the decision to no longer play every day of the week officials, because we don't have to. We're not baying at the door for any sort of invites. We're now getting invites to decent events. So we're very selective about what we do and what we play now. And it's, you know, and it's, I would say it has helped, because, you know, the fatigue of, by the end of the first stint of this team with Thomas before the player break, everyone was so shattered. It was just ridiculous. And I have, you know, I have the biggest admiration for teams who do that 12 months of the year, like Forza, who have been doing it now for 2 years relentlessly, and accepting every invite they get and playing every tournament they get, because it's just so draining for everyone.
Yeah, agree.
I guess now you feel like you can be a bit more exclusive with the tournaments that you're playing in, right? Because of the fact that we are hitting that top 30. And I mean, obviously, we know, because we see a lot of the invites, that we are being a bit more selective now, and that we're not just kind of taking every offer that comes, because I guess you are a bit more protective over making sure that the guys don't burn out as much.
Yeah, for sure. And I would, our win rates have gone down and things like that, and that's purely because we play better opponents. I remember our Vertigo win rate was 83% at one stage, and we had played something like 30 maps in 3 months, and we were beating everyone on it. And then just before we played the recent DreamHack, I think our win rate was 11% or 12% or something like that. But what did that, in reality, what that was just a case that teams started banning it against us, and we were only playing top opposition on it. So, not only has it had an impact on how our team might be perceived publicly, it's just that now we're just playing better opponents all the time. And as you said, yeah, the burnout element of it. I think the guys, didn't really express how burnt out they were, but you could tell by the end of it that in the last few officials that we were playing, we were all just kind of trying to just fall over the finish line and just get to that 2-week break rather than kind of do the best we could.
Yeah, let's get through a couple of questions quickly, and then we'll end this, and we'll move on to the Rocket League guys. But yeah, so I mean, someone's asked, have we got any boot camps planned? I mean, in the UK we're on national lockdown now for a month. There's not going to be a boot camp till the end of the year, I can tell you that. We have a good boot camp facility with the CEX guys. Whenever the guys are ready to do it, we'll get them over to the UK and do that. But I'm imagining it's going to be next year. Be wrong, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the next big LAN event, you'll obviously be doing a boot camp beforehand, I guess. So, but there will be one before then as well, I'm sure. But
figure out the logistics of bringing flameZ over from Israel.
Yeah,
so.
It's about
I saw Secret tweeting out that they're doing an online boot camp or something, and I think Pete, you even asked, right, like, what the hell is an online boot camp? I think the response was, "Oh, we're just playing for like 11 hours solidly a day." And it's kind of like, that just feels like a really aggro prac, right? Like, it's just.
It might be what they need though. They just play tons of CS.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's a quick way to burn you out, I guess, as well at the same time. Joey, what's your best LAN experience?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I'd say.
I
don't know, actually. I think it was beating G2 in Shalawa with Epsilon. Yeah, that was great. And we made it first out of groups. Unfortunately, we lost in the semifinal, but that was a good LAN versus good team. So yeah, I guess that's the best thing.
Cool. Swift and Brit, if you hosted the Spiff Co Pro CS tournament at your mansion of a house, then yeah, let's go. We're in. From Tom, Joey, do you still enjoy playing with Kaya? You two must have been the longest serving duo in the UK scene. And Ross, how has the online era affected your coaching? Do Joey go first?
Yeah, I love playing with Kaya. Otherwise, I wouldn't have played with him for so long. I mean, sometimes, I wanna smash him, but sometimes, but most of the time I like him. I go great with Kai. Like, we know how to tilt each other, and we know how to be friendly with each other. Like, we just know, we just combine really well.
How long's it been now? It's been like 2-3 years at least, right?
Yeah, something like that. 3 years, I think. Yeah. I'm not sure actually. Yeah, something like that. When we both came back from America, and then we joined Meta together.
Oh, for Gfinity, right?
Yeah, for Gfinity, and then we stayed. Then we left because I joined the Fuskis, and he went to Epsilon, and then later on I joined back with him in Epsilon, and then ever since.
And Ross, how has the online era affected your coaching?
I would say that it's the lack of going to events and doing boot camps hurts, because it's very difficult to have meaningful conversations with people over TeamSpeak. As in it's hard to garner how someone actually feels about something without being able to see their mannerisms and how physically how they respond to something you say. So yeah, it's definitely been difficult, and there's been things that have probably fallen by the wayside a bit over the last 9 months because of it. So I would say, in terms of the normal day-to-day stuff, nothing. But in terms of having, meaningful chats with the guys on a one-to-one basis in person. It's you just can't have that on TeamSpeak.
Got the iron fist to RossR regime from Max in chat, yeah.
Yeah, Max thinks I'm a bit of a bully, but that's because Max is soft.
So I guess quick answer: online era, has it helped you grow or hindered you grow? And like, if it was normal, do you think it'd be higher or lower than 30 in the world right now?
Lower. I think that the overall across the it's hard to obviously gauge because you never know. We could have had some lights out event at LAN that you don't know. But I think that just the playing so much, so many officials, so many online events definitely helped. That kind of just experience as a group is invaluable. Where you lose that if you go away to an event, you lose a week, and that week could have been one of your most successful weeks online. So I think now whenever we get out of this, it'll stand to us, I think.
I actually think because we were going to go to Copenhagen Games, we had everything booked, didn't we? I think actually that LAN event might have kind of shown where we were going to go
because a little bit, yeah.
Because if we did well there, I think we'd have been just as good, if not better. But like if we hadn't, and I think we would have done well there. We're going into that, I think, as one of the favourites in my opinion, even back in March. But yeah,
we're in good shape then.
Yeah. Last question anyway before we get the Rocket League guys on. Will flameZ keep playing when he joins the army? I mean, Adam, feel free to take that one if you want.
Oh yeah, give me that one. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so people obviously aware, like with flameZ' situation, he's young, he's from Israel, and they have like a national army service that they have to give. He is contracted beyond when that is due to start. And it's kind of like just a situation that we're going to have to manage ongoing. We know it's a thing that we're going to have to deal with in next year. There are a few options that may mean that he can continue to play, but ultimately at the same time we know that it's an obligation somewhat, and so I guess there is a sense that we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it, or as well. We'd like obviously for him to be able to play and potentially not have to do his service, but it all depends on what the climate is at the time. Whether there are a few avenues that we can investigate and to avoid that. But as for now, yeah, cross that bridge when we get to it, because there's too many kind of variables there at the moment. So
you can go to prison for 2 weeks, can't he? Just stick for flameZ in prison for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he'll come out a completely different guy. Yeah, and obviously that's not something we'd encourage anyway. But it's a but yeah, I think let's just see what happens.
Put PC in his prison cell and just only allows to load up Counter-Strike, nothing else.
Yeah, I'm not sure Israel prisons are quite like the. Yeah, I'm not sure UK prisons would be like Israel prisons would be like UK prisons. I don't think he's going to get a mouse and a keyboard in front of him.
True.
But yeah, let's hope so, right? Let's hope we can keep him playing, because as the guys have touched on, he's been a great asset to us and a great addition to us, and it's certainly what we want. But we'll just manage it ongoing.
Yeah. Anything else from you guys? Thanks for coming on. But
no, it's a pleasure chatting to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We'll probably do something similar next month, especially if these guys do. I mean, there'll be lots to discuss next month with CS, because you guys have got, MDL players coming up. You've got Blast. You've got Cyberbet thing we might have to put out, but I think that depends on, they might change the dates. We'll see. Not sure. Whatever.
We get flameZ to do it. We'll get him a webcam. And get
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I mean, if you guys want anyone on the podcast for that, let me know. We'll try and get flameZ on maybe, because that'd be kind of cool. But it depends on his webcam and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, thanks for going on, guys. And
obviously, good luck on Saturday. Crucial.
Oh yeah, what's the result quickly? Result on Saturday versus Vexed. What's the score?
Oh, are we going to get through the season without dropping a map?
Yeah.
3-0.
3-0, yeah. What was it? It was last time we played, it was 16-5, 16-4, 16-5, something ridiculous.
Well, for against the final, yeah.
We had Thomas then.
Yeah.
So, Connor's is great, but we were actually the whole team, and it's very different to play as a whole team. So, yeah, you we're going to assume that it's going to be 3-0. And it's
going to be 3-0.
Yeah.
Confident
We're
words.
going to get more aggro Joey plays with no scopes left, right, and centre. And...
When we get 3-0, this is getting clipped straight away.
Maybe.
Joey Crowlin in ESL Premiership, and the more iconic duo. I don't know. Guys trolls every game, and then just afterwards he says, "But I have the most kills. I'm killing everyone."
Exactly.
Do you try and coach those games, or you just like at that point you just kind of like forget it?
They are just they're a bit of a stress reliever for everyone. We just come on we try to have fun, and then it can, then fun becomes a bit too much fun, and then Max is frustrated, and then I'm like, "Come on, Joey, stop."
Look, the difference is some people have fun and they don't kill. Robin.
Yeah.
All right.
They're good.
I imagine Max is getting really stressed. He's like, "No, come on, guys, this is not what I called. Joey, you were not meant to run down mid with your scope out." Like,
because Max likes he's like surgical. He just wants to go in, massacre everyone, and get out. Whereas in the guys, you're like, "Oh, we have to clock on for this. We have to play. Let's at least try and have a bit of fun." So I can understand both sides of it.
But normally these games are so late as well. Like at 23 CET, we have this best of one. Like we've prepped the whole day, and then we have this best of one still at 23 CET. I'm like, what is this? Yeah. So, but this one will be different. Yeah, this is just like a normal time, and it's a final. Like I'm just gonna smash them. Like, yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yep. So,
yeah. Thanks a lot. All right, on time. Look at that.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
I'm just too good in it.
No.
I mean, you went completely deafened for me, like you muted.
I muted, didn't I? Fucking hell, when did I mute? Oh, that was...
at the end. Only towards the end.
Okay, good, yeah. I muted so you couldn't hear my keyboard typing, so... there we go. Hey, Metza. Hey, Eclipse. How you doing?
Hello.
Metza's camera looks way better for me than Eclipse's does, but I think yours is...
I mean...
blurry,
yeah, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, Messer's got some, Messer's got like some Twitch model thing going, like he's got like some high def, like, yeah.
I do have an actual light like behind the monitors, and the actual camera is pretty good as well. So
you got one of those ring lights as well.
You should have one. Yeah. Oh, it actually is.
I don't have
professional streamer.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I have none of those things.
Check out both their streams. They both stream. Metz is obviously a big professional streamer with his ring light. But, side model career, but
How are you finding the streaming? Because like you do stream quite a lot on the side, but I mean with RLCS like X, the schedule's been a lot thicker, right? Like you've been playing a lot more games with the grid and everything like that. And so are you finding that you still have an appetite for streaming, or is it kind of taken away from that a bit?
I mean, for sure, it's taking away from my streaming. Actually, I haven't really streamed that much ever since the actual season started, and that kind of happens like every season. But before, it was like this 2-month period where I really didn't stream at all or something, and then it's the off season. It takes forever, and you're bored. You just want to stream, and that's the best way to like get some ranked games in. It's just to stream, but I don't know. When it's the RLCS season, I just want to really improve, and every time I stream, it feels like I'm not improving. So
the RLCS kicks back off this weekend, doesn't it? Or am I wrong with that?
No, next weekend. It's been rescheduled. It's from next Thursday till next Sunday.
That makes it's okay. So it's from the 12th.
So it's from the 10th to the 12th. No, from the 12th to the 15th. I mean, stupid.
Yeah, cool. That makes way more sense because I hadn't seen anything about it, and I was like, is it 3 days? No. Great.
Well, it was supposed to be in 3 days. You are right. It was supposed to be this weekend. It was supposed to be Saturday, Sunday. But then the registration didn't open until today, and the qualifiers was supposed to start today. So there was a bit of a hullabaloo there.
Fair enough.
It's
yeah.
a been a bit crazy in Rocket League at the moment, right? Like with all the roster shuffles and team stuff. And obviously we got back in the grid because even though Barcelona beat us, they then went and split. Which thanks guys, we appreciate it.
They wanted to give us the easy ride, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we have not been partaking in that fun and like changing our roster because I think we're all quite happy with it. What is it like being in that situation where I guess players are becoming free agents left, right, and center? Have you always been confident in the team and like just happy to see all the fallout and watch it from a distance?
Yeah, pretty much. I think since we picked up Metsa in March or May or whatever it was now, it's been a bit of a while. It's crazy to think about that it's been that long considering, but yeah, since we picked him up, we haven't really seen any need to change the player at all. We make the occasional joke here and there because of comments some other pros will make or something, but generally speaking, we're pretty chill. Like we know we had downturns in form, but I think that's like, I think, and you've seen it from the teams that have made changes now. Teams will be like, oh, well, we're not getting as good results as we did in our honeymoon phase, so now we need to change again. And it's like, well, no, you just work as a team to fix it. And I think that's exactly what we've done. And I think we've shown what that can do. But,
you can now got an advantage that you've got a stable lineup over the teams that haven't. So they've got a new one. You got 6 months on them or whatever it's been, or less than that, maybe 3 or 4 months. But yeah.
And I think for me, it kind of feels like we did have an initial honeymoon period, right? Like we had the spring series, which was an incredible start when we brought Metsa on, and he kind of showed us what he could do straight away and fitted in well to the team. And then I guess results have been a bit varied since then. And then we ended up on a huge high with the major, and getting top 4. How have you seen your journey within the team, Metsa, since you joined, back then and had that initial success with spring series to then the major and maybe little bits of dips in form between? What's that journey been like?
Well, honestly, it's funny for me to say this, but it's always felt like this is the most consistent lineup I've ever been a part of. Every other team, I'm so used to just going up and down and relationships going down and people getting mad. But it's actually been it feels like it's been pretty consistent. But obviously, results aren't always consistent, but that's just bound to happen. I mean, obviously, we had the honeymoon period at the start. I think that was like an outlier, but ever since that period, it's been we've been getting better. At least we haven't been getting worse since the after the honeymoon. And then it's just different competitions like the grid. It's so hard to be good every week because everyone's playing without any pressure. It's like anyone can be good at that kind of competition. And it's not even up to even us at that point to have consistent results because the other teams are playing out of their minds or we get a tough draw in the groups or whatever. So it's been fairly consistent for me at least, or that's what it felt like.
I'd say, yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the grid especially, I think, was the biggest one because you saw it a lot of the times when we were doing well or when we were playing better than most, we then come against the team that was popping off that day in the semis, and then they'd go and win it, and we were like, oh, okay, and then we'd go next week, and then someone else would be popping off, and we never really seemed to pop off during the grid. We only ever seemed to just do well, which is frustrating to an extent, but generally speaking, I think we were happy with doing well consistently. But I think we haven't finished below 12th, I think, since we've been a team in Europe. So I think as a team, generally, we've never fallen below being a top 2 in RLOS or being top 10 constantly. So I think we've generally kept a very good consistency. It's just about maintaining that.
I think we've got to remember as well that obviously you came up so fast that it can be hard to stick at the top, isn't it? And it's you've done well to do that in that sense. Sure.
Yeah, we're now top 10 in the world, which is a great achievement, for the lineup. Especially like you touched on the fact that you guys were in RLRS this time last year, and then you came into RLCS and kind of have grown from there. So yeah, I think it's a great achievement. Touching on the grid that you mentioned there, how have you found that like in terms of, I mean, obviously from our point of view as an organization, it's good, right? Because we get to stream it, we get to kind of watch you guys more, and certainly from our fans' point of view, hopefully they're happy in the fact that they can watch you compete more and play more officials and have that weekly match with Guild or whatever it seems to be like, right? But how are you guys finding it? Like, are you enjoying the grid? Are you enjoying the extra competition, or is it, you know, are you feeling like it's maybe just a touch too much?
I don't think we would have had the results we had in Regional 3 or the Major if it wasn't for the grid. And what I mean by that is a lot of the times in Rocket League previously, we've had the RLCS season, we've had those replays to go over and look at and improve upon. But after that, we don't really have anything. There's not really much competition. And with our unfortunate form in the off season, we didn't really get many high level matches either then. So coming into this season, we didn't really have much stuff to go on other than scrims. But scrims has a similar feel as Meta, saying people are trying things, they're doing weird things. They're probably never going to play like that in an actual game against us. So they're not always for that beneficial to go over as a team to improve upon. So I think having those weekly games where we can find out what that team's feeling like that week, ready to go into the regional, we can use those to base what they're doing. And that's generally when they're playing their best is in the grid, because as I said, they have no pressure.
Yeah, I think.
And how does it feel for you as a Pete?
No, go for it,
how's it feel for you as a player, Matt? So like, you know, you guys have been doing so well in regionals and majors and everything like that, and the grid's just kind of been something that's been ticking along in the background. Does it feel any different to you as a player playing in the grid to the regionals and majors, or is every game a final?
For me, it feels like the same as when I started off, like back in the days when you only had these like weekly competitions for like 200 pounds or something. You play this every week. That's the highlight of the week. You play, and if you do well in that, you get on like finals or something. You make 60 pounds for the team or something, and that's what I lived for before. And I loved that you can actually have a competition every week. And really, for me, it feels like it's just to keep up the form. I always lived for the competition. It's hard for me to like stay in form with just scrims and stuff. So for me, it's been like amazing. I love competing, and that's the thing I do this for.
The same sounds the same as, you know, Counter-Strike back in the day or whatever, you know, those little tournaments that, yeah, 60 quid or whatever, great, who cares, it's a nice little competition. Now luckily you're lucky that Rocket League's blown up and it's 10 grand a week instead of 200 quid, but either or. Yeah, I mean, for the grid for us is actually, as an organisation, we feel it's brilliant. I know it's a lot of Rocket League for you guys in some senses, and I know that's changing slightly for the next. Well, I don't know if we can discuss it really, but I don't think that's been announced yet. But
it has.
It's been announced.
Yeah, the new format's been announced.
Okay, great. So yeah, so next season they're doing 4 weeks instead of 9 weeks. But there's 2 days in each week. But it means there's gaps, so you'd have like a week, and then it's a gap, then a week, and then it's a gap, and it's a week. So there's only 4 weeks though, but it's eight match days in total. But for us, it's brilliant because it's a place for our fans to come, get behind the team. You know, get some cool casters in like Stumpy and Cole, who really like bring it alive. And then yeah, I think the whole thing for us is perfect for fan engagement, and you know, somewhere where we can, you know, jump in with the fans and instead of actually where you have the Rocket League chat, which is fun to look at when you're playing in the RLCS, but when there's 150,000 people watching, you can't really read. If you type something in chat, you can't engage with any fans, like, because it's gone within a split second. So, yeah, that I guess that's cool. But yeah, so I mean, like, what are you guys working on at the moment? Like this last month, what's the main thing you guys have been working on as a team to improve? And
honestly, just consistency, because we've now, and I know that sounds stupid after what Meta has said, but like,
sounds like you've got that nailed. Like,
yeah, but generally, it's because like our consistency at the minute is at just being a top 10 team, right? Like we finished joint top 10 for the grid, and then we finished in the top 10 for RLCSX circuit points. So we're obviously consistent in that regard, but we want to make that top 8 run consistent instead of the top 10 run consistent. So it's just all about it's all about making sure that when we are playing bad, our bad days are still a top 8 run, And that's effectively what we're working on, is just making sure that no matter how we're playing, obviously there's going to be days that you are just atrocious and you're not going to get far. And I think every team has that. I think we've seen that with pretty much everyone except for BDS and Vitality this season so far. But like, yeah, I think the key for us to stay in that top 4 spot that we're in now with the RLCS is to find that consistency at our lower end. And if we can do that, I think we'll be in a pretty spot at come the end of this split.
Awesome, yeah.
Especially against, like, there's gonna be so many new rosters that are gonna like probably honeymoon quite a bit at the start of the list. So it's gonna be more us keeping up our level, and we don't get surprised by someone just playing differently or doing some, I don't know, weird stuff that people do.
Yep.
Sounds about right. And one of the things that I think, from our point of view, that a lot of people have noticed, and certainly pundits in the game and things like that, is the fact that obviously when you guys played RLRS in your first season of RLCS, Virtuoso was kind of a demo machine, right? Like, he would go around there and his job would be to disrupt play style of a lot of people and get, you know, in people's faces. I feel like, and I think other pundits have said the same, that he's kind of toned it down lately. And I guess it looks like we have more of a variety in the way that we play. Like, there's definitely more of a plan B there, right? Like, if that doesn't necessarily work, and I know Vert's attested to it in the past, that it's actually really hard work running around a pitch trying to demo people, you know, which I can imagine it is. And so is that a conscious change, you know, the fact, because I mean, Virtuoso, you know, he hasn't had the same numbers in the last major that he would had in the spring series, for example, in terms of the amount of times he was demoing people. So is that a conscious change with the team, and does it affect the way that you play overall?
I don't think it affects us at all, actually. I think no matter what, our same structure remains. I think it puts a bit more pressure on Vert when he does that, and puts a bit more pressure on all of the players, actually, because if Vert's got enough to do that, Metsa and Wave are relied upon extremely heavily at that point to make all the saves, to make all the defensive decisions. However, I think it's not something. I think it's something that we decided when we knew we were doing the whole demo thing early on. We did say that we were going to have to make a second plan at some point, because, you know, certain teams would figure it out, or it might just not work as much well anymore. And so we started it pretty much as soon as we started the demo play style. And I do think we're probably one of the only teams in Europe at the minute, especially actually probably with America as well, out of the both regions, that have those multiple play styles that we can kind of switch on to whenever. So if we do, like, if in a match we do realize, oh, maybe a couple of more demos would be helpful, Vert can just go, all right, I'll demo more then. And, you know, Vert will, and Meta will help out, because he's found a taste for it himself as well now. So.
And Mats, do you have a favorite flavor of Vert? Like, are you like, if he goes off in demo mode, are you like, oh god, here we go, I'm gonna have to like goal keep my ass up here? Or are you actually kind of like, yeah, you know what, you disrupt things and I'll just pick up the pieces?
It's always the perfect balance. Within Rock League, it's always about the balance. So with Word, it's not you don't like go demo at all, or you only go for demo. It's like the perfect balance between getting the good demos, being back helping us, being with the team, like just a perfect balance. That's what we're looking for.
That was very political. Thanks, Mats.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
It is definitely true. I'll agree with him. Vert going full kamikaze is not always the best thing.
I mean, obviously the balance, like in different matchups, the balance like shifts in either direction or whatever. But it's like making the best out of the situation.
No, I will say, like, even with Vert playing relatively demo free, he's still, I think, top 5 or something demos anyway. So it I think the play style is still there, and I still think people see it a lot. I just think now, instead of it just being Vert and everyone mentioning Vert, like you'll see in like Regional 3 and the major, Metsa got some like double bumps in goal, Wave got some double bumps and stuff in goal. And so it's not just Vert showcasing it anymore. The team as a whole has done it, and that's why generally Vert's numbers are going to do it on. He's still the best probably in the world at doing it, but like, you know.
It's figuring out that play style, but in the right moment, isn't it? Because like Metsanauris might be in the right spot to do it, but he doesn't leave it for Vert. He does it himself, and it's kind of like the whole team should be able to do each bit, I guess. Obviously, some people have their skills and they're better at than others, but makes sense, yeah.
No, Wave somehow does it in ball cam. That's the only way he can do it, though. Whenever he tries, he always misses.
I kind of want to touch on Wave actually, because like I mean, I sometimes feel like with Wave he's a bit of like an unsung hero, because like Metsa obviously gets a lot of attention because of being Metsa, and having like thousands of fans chanting his name, in finals and whatever, and Vert obviously being the demo machine that he is, and then Wave just kind of like quietly goes about things and does a sort of really solid job, and so I kind of think of him as a bit of an unsung hero. Do you kind of have that impression yourselves? Like he's a bit of a solid all-rounder, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's just Wave does everything. I think his stats show that. Like he has the most saves. He has the second most goals. And you're like, I don't think that goes together, but okay. But yeah, no, he is definitely. I'd say the quiet workhorse, as it was, like the silent workhorse, as people say. But he also never says GG, so most people ignore him for that.
I know you showed me a stat like 2 days ago, Aaron, about he's got 73 saves in the RLCS major, which was 13 more than anyone else, which is crazy. And yeah, as you said, he's still getting second most goals as well. So that's just nuts. So more props to Wave, I guess.
I think Meta helps with his assists.
Assists, yeah, he got the most assists as well.
He's got assists everywhere.
So, I think with Wave, like everyone that understands the game, and like everyone that doesn't just look at what the people hype up, of course, understands that Wave is like definitely like a star player, and he can do everything you probably need from a player, and he's also a great teammate. But like it's just he doesn't get the, I don't know what it's called.
Praise.
Yeah, public praise as much. Yeah.
I agree with Meta there. Pretty much any play you can ask in the pro scene or anything that is more, especially if they're like more of a game sense player, as most people would say, they notice Wave as being that guy that is always there. I think Tad once told him, like, you're the most solid third man I've ever seen, because he's always there. When you need him to defend, he's there to defend. Yes, he does love a good own goal here and there, and he does love a good whiff every now and then. But like, generally speaking, you'll expect the ball to be going in, and then Wave somehow gets there, and then he'll score some weird goal off it probably, and that's usually how it goes. And I think a lot of people just forget he's on the pitch, I think, but he's always doing something.
I mean, in terms of recognition, actually, I mean, apparently Wave was going to Liquid. That was the first I heard of it when it came online. But
it was the first that we heard of that too.
So getting some recognition there, I guess. But yeah, it was some rumors are not right, guys. I guess don't believe everything online. But yeah, maybe we're the fools. Maybe Wave was behind our backs looking at with Liquid and nearly joining. But
Meta messaged me worried. He was like, "Do you need to find a teammate?" I don't think so.
Yeah, I just want to chat. Actually, saying, what is this? I mean, this is a new monthly podcast we're going to do. It's about all things Endpoint. So what goes on in the month? So November coming up. After November we'll do, what happened in November, how it went down for Endpoint as a business. We did Counter-Strike before this. We had Crucial and Ross on, and now we've got Metsa in the clip. So if you've got any questions for the guys or us, me and Adam, just ask them. It's very open. We'll basically give you an answer to anything as long as we're not NDA'd for it or whatever. So, yeah. I mean, so coming about November, what have we got coming up? What's your expectations? So,
I think Matthew, you can go first for once.
Well, it's hard to know expectations because like a completely new format on everything, and like you don't really know how it's all gonna go down. So expectations are always high, but it's hard to say like at this point before you actually see how the format plays out and everything, how it's gonna go. I expect us to become better.
It's double elimination this time, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. So we have only one life instead of 3.
There's no Swiss format, double elimination bracket. Do you prefer that or prefer the Swiss bracket?
I think we do better in brackets, honestly. I think that's where we thrive, because I think a massive part of our team is having that ability to switch, and I think it's harder to switch what we're doing when we don't know who we're playing. So when we have someone else coming up, I think we know. And I think we showed that, because I think in every Swiss stage, we struggled a lot more than we struggled in the actual playoff brackets of the 2 tournaments we got to. So I think, and we did, I think, on average, like we had higher placements in the grid as well. and I think our bracket just suits us better because we can set up for that next team then. But generally speaking, my expectations is to at least remain top 4, if not even push further. But like I think my minimum, and I think is for boys, is always to make sure we're top 8. I think minimum is top 8, and then everything else is a bonus. And as we work on our consistency, as I said, hopefully top 6 will be the minimum, and then do you know what I mean? So yeah.
So top 4 at the moment obviously means that we're in the picture for Worlds. Like obviously we're really early stage. Do you think that that's an achievable objective with and getting to Worlds? I mean, let's hope they're on land.
How many teams
right?
from EU qualify now? Do we know?
6.
Only 6 to Worlds. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely a top 6 team. But as this entire format's designed upon, it is to have that consistency. Are we consistently top 6 at the minute? I'm not so sure. But then it also depends. There's all these new rosters out there where I think I would be more confident saying we were top 6 in all the previous rosters. But we don't actually know how good any of these rosters yet because we haven't even had time to scrim them all after such a short transfer window. So and we're going into the new tournament. We might actually play teams before we've even tried playing against them in the first place. So that's the only shock I think there'll be for us. This split is this first tournament could either go really well or really badly, depending on how the roster moves have done.
You've done quite well doing well in the major though, because the major's double points as well. So we've got a good lead to get to 4th place already, which helps.
Yeah, I think we have 120 or 170 points between us and 7th. So we have effectively a top 4 finish in a regional between us and dropping out of the world spots. So as long as we keep, at least a top half finish in each tournament, we should, relatively speaking, stay at the top, depending on obviously if it depends on what teams are obviously winning those tournaments and stuff. But generally speaking, you would expect us to still be in the top 6 by the end of this split. But it depends on the gap between us and then 7th again, or how realistic that 3rd split will be. And if the format benefits us or really goes against us, you never know, do you? So it's all we'll be working still game by game or tournament by tournament, I guess, in a grander scheme. But
and Matt, so with the new lineups and whatever, that with all the shuffle that's been going on, is there any lineups out there at the moment that you have been kind of thrown together where you're thinking, oh, we better keep an eye on these, like this looks kind of a potentially a scary lineup? Or is it at the moment just thinking, are you keeping on top of it all?
Well, I feel like there's a few rosters that got better. I don't think necessarily anyone's gonna be out of the new rosters, anyone's gonna be better than us. But I definitely think that Soli has probably gotten better for sure. Liquid has definitely gotten better. It's hard to remember all the roster moves because there's so many. But at least those 2. Wait, give me a sec. Giants. I don't think they got better. They're similar level. So I think there's a few rosters that are gonna be an actual threat in tournaments where they haven't necessarily been before, but it's hard to say. I think we're still gonna be better than most of the teams.
What about Guild? Let's throw some shade if we're gonna play.
Yeah, how do you rate the Guild thing? We kind of got a weird unspoken rivalry just because we played them so often, right? And
to be fair, our rivalry with them does stem all the way from RLRS. So they were one of our only 2 losses in RLRS, and the way they won that match, I think forever has a way of living at them. And then we beat them in the regional to qualify for RLCS, and then we played them to get dropped into the promotion playoffs in RLCS. So I think we have a very long history of playing them in important places and stuff and going tit for tat for them. So I think that rivalry's been there for almost a year and a half now, but this season's definitely accentuated it because we played them that many times.
And I think all the things that have been... Go on, Matt.
If anything, it's get better for us that they made a roster move because we had a little bit of a struggle against them more than not. So I think it's for the better for us at least because we can start fresh against the new roster, get the W's out of the way, and then it's all Gucci from there.
Wasn't a lot of the beef with Scrub Killer anyway, but he's gone.
Yeah,
so...
I mean, Scrub's
well,
gone.
now we're just friends, or
I mean,
boys.
not sure about that yet, but Scrub is also quite an ironic story that Scrub went and publicly said that Vert was Mr. Replaceable and has been replaced. So,
but I think that's the thing. Like with Scrub and with Guild in general, like obviously this last season there's been a lot of drama. Like obviously everyone that knows Rocket League has been kind of following it, and there's been all sorts of things with him, you know, joining voice channels mid-game, and like just general reports of the fact that the team, you know, haven't been all that pally with each other. You know, and the thing is with Scrub is the fact that he's a good player. Like he's a strong individual player, but he just can never quite seem to find his feet in a team, and because of his disruptive nature. Like,
yeah, he's definitely a conflicting personality, to say the least. And I think once he finds his team, and I think once he finds people that work with him, as I think that is with everyone, I think that's when you'll really see Scrub like excel. And that will probably be a scary day, honestly, because he is a very individually talented player. But it's not about the individuality in Rocket League. You've got to be a team player. And I think actually our team is a perfect example of that. You look at us in terms of goals and stuff compared to other players, other teams this split. We're the only team that have all 3 of our players in the top 10 goal scorers. We have 2 of our players in the top 10 assists, assists given. And I think we have all 3 in top saves as well. So it's not as if one player is doing everything, like you saw with an Itachi or you saw with a Scrub, effectively, because he had like all of he saved everything for Guild. Anything that wasn't going in, it wasn't Tho or Nolly that was saving it. I mean, it was Scrub. So I think, you know, that will be the future when you see more like BDSs and Vitalities, where all 3 of them are threat, and you have to be able to quell them all.
how far away? Obviously, we played the major recently, and BDS and Vitality just looks incredible. You know, BDS in particular. Do you feel that like how big a step is that? You know,
I think between us and Top Blokes now to Vitality BDS is still huge. They are definitely conquerable. I think both us and Top Blokes have the ability, and a couple of the other teams have the ability to definitely beat them. They're not untouchable as they used to be.
I mean, Galaxy Racer came pretty close, right? Like in the semi against BDS.
Well, Galaxy Racer also beat Vitality the day before, so they can definitely do it. It should, and we can as well. I think we showed in like Regional 3 in the finals that if we had just put away a couple more of our shots, you know, it would have probably been more like us winning that one instead of them. And you know, it's unfortunate we didn't, but I don't think those 2 teams are untouchable. And I think if they let off the gas at all, then us Top Blokes, you know, Giants, Solarine, or everyone else will quickly catch up. And I think that could be a bit of a problem for them in the long term. But right now, there is definitely a step up from us, and then it's them.
Do you feel the same way, Metsa?
Yeah, I think it's always. I don't know what it is, but it's always been like that for me. Like I'm in like the top team, but I'm never the top team, you know. So it feels like there's a step, and they definitely have like a mental edge if it comes to like finals and stuff. Because I don't know, Monkey Moon's mental strength is something else, and then Vitality just has so much experience by now that it's like
they're paid up.
And they have like the edge in the mental stages. But I think like most of these teams, as you can see from the grid, like has the capability of beating them, but they just have this. It's not their ego, but like they just have this strong shield of like around them that protects them from like the difficult situations.
It's also consistency though, because mental state helps with consistency. So the more consistent you get, the better you get at, you know, making results and not being all over the place. The better your natural state of mental state will be. So, I mean, BDS are winning everything, you'll naturally get a good mental state than if you're losing stuff. So, I think a lot of it can be down to variance as well, but also mental state or mindset in that sense can have big differences. But
I think the calmness you see from those 2 teams as well. I think you saw it in like when Dig won World Championships with Violent Panda and all that. They were like ice cold in those games, and you saw, I think it was BDS when they won their first regional. They had a video taken of them, and they went, "Oh, well done," put their controller arms and turned around and walked off. And it was like, you just won a regional, bro. Like what?
Yeah, got a question, chat actually. So we talked a bit about Metz, about Vert, obviously, in the team and how you like him, but I'd like to play how you like his demoing and how you'd like it to be. But someone asked, what was your first impressions of Vert's play style? Like, I guess the question really should be kind of you know, you used to obviously play against Virtuoso on a different team, so what was your view on him then? And coming into the team, did you have a view of like what he's going to be like, or?
Well, at the last season, in the regular season, I didn't really know much, or in scrims it didn't feel like I didn't know anyone of the team like at all. But when we played against them in the promotion tournament, because we both went to relegation, when we played them, it felt like we got actually won with 3 by Virtuoso. I was not alive for more than 10 seconds on that field. I swear to God, and it was so annoying. And like, actually, the second series we lost the first one fair and square. Second series, we just got like, we had no chance. Like, it felt like we were playing actually way better than the first series, but we just got owned. So that was the expectation going into it. I'm like, all right, well, this is gonna be annoying to play against. Yeah, and when you originally started like playing with Vert, like you feel like you have a lot more space. Like you have like a freedom of a sense. Like I never like felt like I had so much like space on the field, and like it felt like playing against easier opponents almost.
It feels like playing twos.
It doesn't really feel like playing twos. It feels like you're playing against easier opponents. Like you feel like you have time a lot more, and you like have the chances to do whatever you like more than just trying to go for a 50 or like trying to rush a ball. I don't know.
Create space for you, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like when I originally joined, it was just like the space created was like huge. Never felt like that before.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for our. So you guys got anything else you want to chat about?
I mean, Metsa used to ego us, and then he joined us. It was all great. It's a good, nice little circle.
All right, well, there we go.
There we go. That's a good way to end it. Yeah.
Still egoing you, so nothing changed.
He does still ego me. This is true.
Yeah, well, as I said, this will be a monthly podcast. If there's anyone you want us to get on the show, you know, if you want Wave to come on or Vert to come on, or if you don't want the Rocket League guys to come on, let us know. But yeah, it'll be about, you know, all things Endpoint. You can always ask us questions, as I said, from business or any of our teams. If you haven't seen any of our podcasts before, !podcast, I'll put it into chat now. Go check us out. I'll put this up on YouTube, probably be on there tomorrow or something. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for everyone for watching, and bye.
Yeah, cheers guys.